bet he didn't use real bees like Tony Todd. If you don't know the backstory to that and how much money he got by each sting by the bees, it's a pretty insane story. Welcome back to another movie reaction. Today will be 2021's Candyman. This will be my first time reacting to the movie. I skipped it, I think mostly because I got turned off with the whole remake era of horror, and I think that particular year, I think we did get bombarded with a couple of remakes, and yeah, I kind of just ignored it, to be honest. But I have heard pretty positive stuff with this movie, and I thought I might as well take the opportunity to watch it. I personally really like the first movie. Tony Todd is one of my favorite horror villains, basically. He's iconic in the role, and his future appearances in Final Destination is probably my only reason to watch those movies. Speaking of Tony Todd, he is casted in this movie, but I don't think he's going to be the main Candyman. I think if anything, it'll probably just be a cameo or a really quick shot of him in suit, and then he would disappear for the rest of the film. And yeah, I'm not too familiar if this is going to be a continuation from the lackluster sequels, or if it's going to be like David Gordon Green's Halloween, where it scraps everything past the first one. I'm not too sure, but to be honest, hopefully it does go that route where it scraps the sequels, because they were pretty disappointing. And yeah, I'll pretty much end my rambling and get straight into the movie. So if you guys do enjoy this, make sure you like and sub. I'll put the movie here and we'll get right into it. What? Why is everything inverted? Have I got a dodgy copy? What's going on here? Oh, or is it the Candyman mirror effect? Is that what they're doing? Okay, so the text works fine. That must have been just a stylistic choice with the mirror, you know, stuff is inverted from mirrors. So this looks like it's still in 1970s, so it's still in the projects. Because this is a very grim setting. You know, me who doesn't live in the States thought it was more like a, not fabrication, but a more like an over-exaggerated aesthetic. But me looking back and seeing like actual documentary footage and stuff like that, it's like, oh shit, this is actually real. People lived in this grungy, disgusting place, and it is a grim reality to that time frame. That's not concerning that there's a massive hole in the wall. Candyman's clearly going to just pop out of that, right? He's still got the nice furry coat. Well, it's a bit different actually. It's such a weird concept as well, Candyman, where it's like he's got bees. Okay, so we're not even going to get full closure of what happened there. It's just going to skip to maybe the present day. That's what I'm assuming this movie is going to do. It's going to be like Halloween, where it's a sequel to the original movie, not a remake. Ah, okay. Yahya Abdul-Mateen III's in this. Great actor, by the way.
As I told my sister many times, the neighborhood is haunted.
Everywhere is haunted.
Troy, do not start with that.
Okay. So yeah, I'm assuming it is a direct sequel because Candyman's already made an impact on this neighborhood, so people are scared to enter it.
Why'd you have to choose a place that used to be called Smoky Hollow, then Little Hell, then what is it? Combat Alley?
What's it called now?
Cabrini Green.
Right, okay, yeah. So it's the same projects.
Translation, white people built the ghetto and then erased it when they realized they built the ghetto.
Right, so they're using the same commentary that the first movie had, which was pretty much how bad that place was.
You guys want to hear a scary story?
No.
Too bad.
Wait, what's more scary than the projects? That was pretty scary.
About a woman named Helen Lyle. She was a grad student, a white grad student, doing her thesis on the urban legends of Capri.
Right, so this is a direct sequel because Helen became basically like a servant to Candyman.
One day, she just snaps.
She also went bold and done some weird stuff with crucifix.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Wait, so if they don't believe the story, why were they so spooked about it being haunted then? I also love the story imagery as well, with like the paper cutout, with like paper stick figures.
She goes on a rampage. Baby of one of the residents is abducted.
Is Helen gonna return in this movie? Or not? And I'm just gonna say, Trevor got what he deserved in the end of the first movie.
Baby in her arms. She runs towards the fire, but they're on her quick. They say she was in a fugue state, fighting back blindly. But they got the baby free.
I think you're freaking out your friends.
And walks right into the fire. And it's on that spot that she dies. Burns to death. Right in the middle of Cabrini Green.
Right, but is her spirit gonna come back like basically Candyman? Is she gonna be in this movie being the killer? Because that might be interesting. Or at least make an appearance.
Finally dating someone normal. I was getting exhausted trying to keep up with all those European fashion designers.
What time is Clive coming tomorrow?
10 a.m.
Clive who? Clive Barker?
I guess he did kill a Rottweiler. Damn.
He's gonna become like Helen, isn't he? And become obsessed with the story and probably turn into Candyman. Candyman and Freddy's Revenge have a lot in common as well, for whole like possession type story.
This is Anthony McCoy of 2 years ago. I want the Anthony McCoy of the future.
So he's an artist, okay? So he does a lot of like imagery based on racism, by the looks of it. And I bet you, being in that apartment, you're gonna find some more stuff to draw about.
I'm working on something.
I dig into that history of yours, dude.
I'm thinking about doing something about the projects.
Yeah, Candyman.
Or Cabrini Green.
Right, he's gonna dig into the history and screw himself over with Candyman. I can already see this movie playing out. Hey, they got a good picture of Helen there. At least she's not bald and have all this weird shit on her. It looks a lot better now than it did back in '91. Wouldn't do that, especially in this place. You're just asking for trouble. Yeah, it looks a lot more updated than the old neighborhood. I mean, mind you, it's probably just as ran down, but it does look like they've at least reconstructed some parts. And that's actually probably a reflection to real life as well. Your funeral, I guess. Nice. So that looks like Clive Barker's original drawing for Candyman. For people that don't know, Candyman is not even supposed to be an American horror villain. It was based in England. Obviously, Clive Barker is British. But he gave the okay for the movie to be adapted for an American audience, which, again, the movie has its charm and it's a pretty good slasher. And it also had good conversation on, you know, racial friction and all that, especially in the early 90s. I've always found this world interesting. It's just that as the movies went, the quality kind of went away.
They'd almost never come around here back in the day. Unless it was to take someone there. But that was a long time ago.
Is it probably because they couldn't capture Candyman?
You need a hand?
Also, a simple hello would have been probably better to introduce yourself instead of startling him.
One white woman dies in the hood and the story lives on forever.
To be fair though, she did abduct the baby and go on a murderous rampage before she died. So, but yeah, I do understand the double standard here too.
Helen and I was out here looking for Candyman. You ask me, I say she found him.
What's Candyman?
Something you don't want to go into. Don't say it 5 times in a mirror too.
A razor blade shows up in a little white girl's Halloween candy. Police come around here looking for Sherman, but Sherman's gone.
Is this where the craze of razor blades come from? Because I grew up watching Trick or Treat, which is when I was a kid, that was the movie I watched. And I always thought that movie started that craze, but it was the first movie of Candyman, wasn't it?
One day, I saw myself.
So he was the kid. So he didn't get killed?
He'd been hiding in the walls.
This guy doesn't have the presence Tony Todd had, just already by the facial expressions.
They swarmed him.
Wait, what?
Killed him right there on the spot.
Okay. He didn't even put up a fight?
What shows up a couple weeks later? More razor blades and more candy. That's when we knew Sherman had been innocent.
Sherman. That must be a new character, right? Because that's not Candyman's original name. Oh, this is going to be interesting painting. I like that shot there, that was nice with the paintbrush. Let's see his horrific masterpiece, I guess.
Oh, I told you months ago to put her in rehab.
You're probably going to put your boyfriend in rehab soon as well. He's going to go mad.
So, she's about the same.
Stop it.
It's great. I want to show you something.
Yeah, it's really a great time to do that.
Sherman's face was beaten so badly that it was unrecognizable. And that's where the story started. About them seeing him around Cabrini.
Pretty unsettling, but decent artwork, I guess.
It's a pretty literal approach. Not much room for viewer interpretation, you know, moving from the symbolism of violence to the actual depiction of it.
Right, I got the same sentiment. But maybe you can grab a different emotion if you go heavy hitting into the actual gruesome part of it than the implication of the violence, I guess.
It's like I know exactly what I'm meant to be doing right now.
Babe, that's great.
It probably involves murder though. It's not great.
And the legend is, if you say his name 5 times while looking in the mirror, he appears in the reflection and kills you.
He seems awfully excited about that. Is he going to try that? Or wait, she?
Candyman.
Anthony.
Candyman.
Anthony, no.
This guy's an idiot.
You better not do
Okay.
that.
There's a mirror, you idiot.
What happened to your hand?
Fucking beastie.
Really?
Yeah, shit hurt.
It's going to hurt a lot more now. So that's Sherman, not Candyman. Because wasn't Candyman's name like Daniel or something like that? So is this another version of Candyman? Is it maybe an apprentice or something? Maybe he's going to become what this Sherman guy becomes. It's not necessarily Candyman, but he's working for him. Why are they focusing on her? Is she going to be basically Helen now? The dead white woman in this movie? Why would he have put that information there? Why? And there's a mirror so she can say it as well. So he's like unintentionally baiting people to say the word.
I'm trying to align these moments in time that exist in the same place. The mirror invites you to attempt the summoning yourself.
So he's unintentionally baiting people to say Candyman to get killed.
The word speaks for itself.
No, it speaks, all right.
Yeah, don't say it.
Should try it.
What?
Summon the Candyman.
Don't. You know the story, if anything. Don't go around to say it. Also, he said it too, and Sherman appeared in the mirror, so he's going to get attacked anytime soon.
You so we're stocking up on morning after pills to accommodate your summer intern program?
That's not spontaneous. Yeah, you had that one in the bank.
Yeah, I did, bitch.
Drinking on the job? Fire him now, he's unstable. And he's probably going to murder everyone in this room too. Wait, everyone's drinking? What kind of art exhibit is this?
Do I get an apology for that display?
Atrocity exhibition.
Shoehorning her boyfriend into my summer show was her first mistake.
That room design's a mistake too. What the hell is that? Oh no, this is still the exhibit. Okay. I thought this was his house.
Say what 5 times in the mirror?
What I'm starting to not like with this as well is like these grown adults are acting like teenagers where they're probably all going to say Candyman and get killed. And all you have to legitimately do is don't say the name and you won't die. It's a pretty easy thing to follow. But these people are somehow still going to say this name.
Don't do it, okay? I don't want you to die tonight.
She's going to die tonight.
Quiet, bitch.
So maybe because he's looking in a mirror, he might get transported to there and maybe he would kill them. I'm thinking Sherman wasn't as innocent as they said.
So much for that.
Well done, you learnt. Don't say it.
Is this real?
What do you think? Candyman doesn't play around as well, he just got straight into action. He heard his name 5 times and there you go. He's not going to wait a week like The Ring or anything like that. So is that still that Sherman guy or is that actually Tony Todd? I just realised this guy's Clive, so Clive's gonna get killed by his own creation. You don't have keys? He technically didn't say it. What would be pretty unique as well is if he somehow paints the deaths of these people and he's kind of like connected now, the Candyman, so he's indirectly painting future murders. Yeah, I wouldn't walk in that. Yeah. How nice of Candyman to clean up the place as well. Yeah, I think he's turning into Candyman. I think that's what's happening. Sherman was probably another guy who was investigating or was curious enough to say the name.
Gallery's group show opening. The bodies were discovered in front of a piece from rising star Anthony McCoy entitled Say My Name.
Well done. And it was kind of your fault.
They said my name. Hey. And say my name.
He's getting hungry for the fame of his artwork. He's losing it. And because Clive Barker was a pretty big fan of like Lovecraft, I wonder if Candyman has like some mind-bending stuff we put in this movie. Maybe he's slowly succumbing to become Candyman. I think that's where they're going for. I think they're doing like a Freddy's Revenge type thing here. Oh, that's a haunting shot. Something's always been unsettling with stuff like that. It's not necessarily a jump scare too, which I'm liking with this so far.
Hurry up. I'll be up in a minute.
He's not gonna say the name again, is he? I mean, it's too late for him anyway.
This is everything we have under Helen Lyle.
So we're gonna get the documents and the recorder she basically reported on. Now he's gonna find out it was a bad idea to say that.
So, are you a student?
So it looks like he's starting to get that kind of aura that Candyman had in that first movie where he was kind of attracting women.
The residents are afraid to call the police. A code of honor, perhaps. Fear of the police themselves. The easy answer is always Candyman did it.
Right. That's the interesting topic of this movie too. Is it the fear of the police or the fear of the Candyman?
The suggestion that you're being followed or stalked by something lurking in your own reflection.
Well, it's gonna happen to him now. Yeah, I bet you're regretting saying those words. Yeah, well, it's over for you. Razor blade in the candy. Yep, of course. His arm looks all, like, charred up as well. That's gonna go all over him. So I assume Tony Todd's not gonna be in this movie that much. If at all.
Ruthie called 911 and she said there's somebody coming through the walls. And they didn't believe her.
He's gonna paint himself into madness pretty much. This also reminds me of Pickman's Model, Lovecraft story where a artist was painting himself into madness, and it's playing similar to that.
No. She was killed with a hook.
So it's getting worse for him. He really likes this beanie, doesn't he?
It's now expanded into a larger article, which unpacks both the works and the circumstances around the murders.
Right, I completely forgot that people died at his exhibit.
That's a coincidence.
I'm not saying that you're at fault. And I am certainly not saying that a ghost manifested by collective storytelling killed a prominent art dealer.
No, but you should be, because that's true.
What's next?
I'm expanding the work into a series. I'm hoping to do a solo show all about Candyman. Spread the word. The city cuts off a community and waits for it to die. You young people, you white, preferably, or only, please come to the hood. It's cheap.
He's got a point, but I could already see he's spiraling in the madness with this.
To get it, you should say it.
Say what?
Say his name.
He's just adding to the death count, isn't he? Interesting, I can't really sympathize with him because he's a bit of an idiot. Like, Helen at least wasn't like this. Don't do it. Don't peel that. Don't. Stop. Why is he roaming around her house? Wait, his arm is going to fall off. He's going to have a hook soon, isn't he? So is that Sherman character again? Yeah. He's slowly becoming the apprentice of Candyman, I guess. Because it looks like Sherman became that. Interesting. I don't remember anything like this in the other sequels.
You alright?
No. Get him help right now.
I gotta go.
Nice shot there of the house, showing him walking away. That's nice. Not really privacy filled, this building. Tinted windows should be the way to go here.
You should come by the museum sometime.
I think I'd like that.
Oh my god.
What's wrong?
What's happening?
Finley Stevens was found dead in her apartment.
Oh, her husband's a suspect.
I have to go.
He's probably done it and not knowing he's turning into Candyman, isn't he?
There are others.
Samuel Evans, run down during the white housing riots of the 50s.
So yeah, there's different versions.
But the first one, where it all began, was in the 1890s. It's the story Helen found, the story of Daniel Robitaille.
Okay, so yeah, as the years went by, different apprentices happened.
They love what we make, but not us.
Right. So yeah, he was in an interracial relationship and he got lynched, I think, for it, and that's how he became Candyman. So it's pretty much the first movie. I think the second movie also dives a bit deeper into the backstory too.
They beat him, tortured him, they cut off his arm and jammed a meat hook in the stump.
I like the animation style here too.
The big finale, they set him on fire, and he finally died.
Okay, yeah, that's right, yeah. So I wasn't lynching, the other characters were though. So what I don't really understand is they all got tortured and, you know, really bad shit against them. Why is he turning into it? Because he's not really getting anything as terrible as the extent as those guys were.
Don't look at those!
What the fuck is this?
Shouldn't be looking at this.
So yeah, he's drawing the murders. So it's similar to Pickman's model.
I made a mistake.
What do you mean?
I brought him back.
Who?
You promise you won't think I'm crazy?
Candyman isn't real.
I saw him!
Candyman isn't real, Anthony!
You won't be saying that when he pumps it up.
Candyman!
He's just gonna go on a mirror murdering rampage now. Real smooth.
Have you guys heard of Candyman?
So these school kids are gonna say it. Okay, this makes sense because they're dumb teenagers, so whatever, that's fine.
Candyman.
But grown adults saying it, especially like the people at the art exhibit.
Oh, Jordan's fucking trash.
Oh, so they're bullies. Okay, yeah, well, get him killed.
Move. Move. What are you doing?
Oh, nice.
Stop being so stupid.
If she just pretends not to hear anything, is she gonna get affected? Okay, are we gonna get a kill shown through the makeup mirror? No, they cut away. What is this rated? PG-13? They haven't really shown much. So, is that Anthony doing the kills instead of Sherman? I assume because the cops killed him, he's officially dead and he's now taken the place. It reminds me of District 9 when his nose were just falling apart.
And your eye for emerging talent. How long have you worked with Anthony McCoy?
Just a couple years.
That's probably going to end soon, but she's probably going to like his work and wants more. Right, so the bigger exhibits like Anthony's work, but he's going mental because of it.
Mass murder at Golan College Prep. Police have found a startling link to the art world murders, in particular, a piece called Say My Name.
Right, but aren't these people connecting that shit like this happened in the early 90s?
I saw in your file you were born here.
I was born on the south side.
No, it says you were born here.
That's why he's changing. I assume that's why he's changing, because maybe he was either adopted. There has to be maybe a backstory from his past that he doesn't know about. Something that involves some trauma. That's why he's turning into it. Because it doesn't really make sense that he says the name, he turns into it, but the other people just die. There has to be a reason.
Anthony, where have you been?
Who is this now? His mom? We're gonna get like a story of, did she get with Candyman? I wonder. Or is he the sacrificial kid in the first movie?
I heard a story about a fire. Killed a woman named Helen Lyle.
She knows something.
Something they used to call Candyman.
She knew Candyman, yep. And he was the kid born in that place.
But you were born in River North Memorial and spent the first 2 years in Cabrini.
Why did you lie?
So you didn't become this?
Do I look normal, Mama?
Why, can't you tell he's flaking as you speak?
When you first got taken, I thought she was the one who did it.
He's the kid, isn't he?
But it wasn't her. It was him.
Are we going to see Tony in this movie?
You found me.
You shouldn't have said it. I can't really feel sorry for you. You went around saying it like an idiot and then enticed other people.
They tore down our home so they could move back in. We need Candyman.
Oh, did he set everything up, this guy? Is that what he did? Did he like feed the information to Anthony to become Candyman? But this is an interesting term. Is this guy technically a Candyman kind of houseborn for Candyman? Another servant?
I knew it was only a matter of time before the baby came back here.
The makeup effect's really, really good on him. It's disgusting, but it looks good. Are the bees gonna come out of his mouth like Tony's? Right, so why is he captured her for? What's the point? So he's gonna put the hook on his hand. Gruesome. So is she gonna be the first kill? Probably. Maybe that's what's gonna happen. She's gonna be the first ritualistic sacrifice for Candyman.
When it's all done, they'll tell a story. And Candyman will live.
I actually think it would have been more interesting if the whole town was secretly a part of this, where they all want this scary creature to loom around the city so no one lives here. I think that would have been a bit more interesting than just one guy. She's just bolted off. She wants no part of this. So I wonder if Anthony Candyman is now just no longer Anthony anymore. He's like completely lost his mind. So it pretty much is kind of like a Lovecraft story in a sense. And where is Tony Todd? He's listed on the cast. Is his cameo legitimately going to be like a 1 second blink and you miss? Because I have not yet seen him. What serrated edge pen is this?
Ben.
Is she going to become like Helen now? I think that's what's going to happen. Because Candyman was supposed to be like a vampire to some extent. So maybe he's going to manipulate her. Or maybe the cops are going to come and kill him.
Okay, we're gonna get you help. We're gonna get you to a hospital, okay, baby? We're gonna get you to a hospital.
I don't think a hospital will help. I think he's too far gone. Hopefully they shot that other guy. Maybe he stood back up. What happened there? I kind of... Did the other guy get back up? Or did they shoot Anthony? You didn't know what to do. Well, maybe not shoot the guy that is already like on the floor.
He's an accomplice. He held the victims down, he cut them up. He died coming at a cop. She goes to jail for the rest of her life.
The only thing I don't like, and I'll give a negative to this film so far, is I like the commentary, but I don't like the dialogue. And I'll explain that later on.
Can I see myself?
What?
In the mirror.
She's gonna say it.
Candyman.
Don't the cops know about this? We're gonna end it similar very similar to the first movie, I guess, where she becomes like Helen, I guess you can say. Nice kill there.
The writing on the walls.
So that's the only Tony Todd cameo there, is the reflection, right? It looks like Tony, I think that's him. So that's it. So he didn't kill him to kind of have him live in guilt, maybe? Yeah, maybe it wasn't the best thing to have caught him because he's no longer your husband. I bet he didn't use real bees like Tony Todd. If you don't know the backstory to that and how much money he got by each sting by the bees, it's a pretty insane story. Oh, there we go, Tony. Okay. So, quick glimpse. So, he's just used him as like an apprentice now.
Tell everyone.
So yeah, he was legitimately like a 1 minute cameo. So that was 2021's Candyman. Overall, really enjoyed it. I think it's a good addition to the lore, and I think it's the better sequels. I don't really like Candyman 2 and 3 that much. 2 had some good elements with the flashbacks here and there, but I think this is preferably the better sequel. I'll compare it to like the new Hellraiser reboot. I'll put it on the same par with that movie. And just now I looked at the IMDb reviews because I was interested to see on different websites what people thought about this movie, and it seems a really weird time this movie came out, especially in like today's day where I see a lot of people saying this is like some propaganda type movie. I didn't really see that. I saw this in the same vein as the first movie. It had a very similar message, and I personally don't understand why people thought that. Like, racism and stuff like this exists, and I think it is added in the Candyman lore. Like, that's legitimately how Daniel became Candyman, so it is deeply rooted in that horrific story, and this didn't do anything more egregious than the original one. So again, I just don't get why people would label it as some weird propaganda. However, I will say I love the message, but some parts of the dialogue in the movie I don't think comes across as natural. So, for example, when Anthony's talking to the white artist in the hotel room, some of the discussions there don't feel natural, and I think that's the problem I have with this movie. The message is great, and I don't think it's like forcefully pissing off people. It's a message people need to learn, but I feel the dialogue between the characters feels very, very unnatural, and again, I think that's the only complaint I can say about the message. It's a good one, but some parts is like, well, real people won't talk like this to other people. And it's also an interesting take on the Candyman lore, where he's like, throughout the years, taken apprentices. It's interesting also that I thought this would be like a passing of the torch, where Tony Todd is probably going to drop the character of Candyman and give it to someone else, but the end of this movie suggests that no, he's kind of still the original Candyman. It's just he's leeching off other people. And I also want to retract the statement I said during the reaction. I said that kids are probably not going to find fun in saying Candyman towards a mirror and do stupid daring stuff, but people are legitimately dying in real life doing TikTok challenges, so it's probably not so far-fetched for a bunch of idiots to say this shit in front of a mirror. And yeah, my final thoughts on the film is, I think it's a solid sequel. I think it's the best Candyman sequel we've gotten, and I think it expanded the lore pretty good. Saying that, I think this should be a one and done. I don't think you need to expand any more further than this. I think this is as good as it's going to get, because then you just get into the repetition realm where you're going to have a similar story. Candyman apparently dies at the end, but no, he's not dead because he's a pseudo Dracula character. So I think ending it like this and make his killings more ambiguous without doing the movies would be fine. And that's pretty much it for today. If you guys did enjoy this, make sure you like and sub, and I'll see you in the next one.